Right, so welcome back to the vlog. I thought we'd do something a little bit different today. We're actually going to go through a few of my old rounds, and I'm going to talk over the top, tell you what I did well, tell you what I did not so good, and just sort of recap on those. Right, so first of all, we thought we'd have a look at Dee Dee's 5 Fence Challenge win at Horse of the Year show back in 2018. So this was sort of quite early doors with me riding him, and I'd sort of done a few smaller classes, a couple of shows before, but really this is my first proper international, first sort of step up with him, because when I actually qualified for horse, my only horse was Romeo, so he was the only one I was going to be able to take, but luckily I got the ride on Dee Dee as well. So this video is basically, it's the 5th round of the 5 Fence Challenge at Horse of the Year show. If any of you don't know, the way the 5 Fence Challenge works is basically there's 5 fences. And you go in, and if you jump clear in each round, then you get to move on to the following round, and after each round they then put it up. So the fences get bigger and bigger as you go along. It starts off at about around 1.45 m, I believe, and then after that, if you jump clear, it goes up and gets bigger and bigger by the end, until eventually in this last round, the last fence was 1.86 m. So it got pretty big in the end, but Dee Dee was fantastic, obviously. And took it all in his stride. Start off with, right, so watching the video here, I made the mistake of, in the 4th round, actually going up and showing him the biggest oxer in the course. So in this one I tried to avoid that, and I just sort of let him see the second fence, and just sort of let him relax, because he'd already jumped a few rounds in there, and he can get quite worked up with the crowd, so I just wanted to let him walk for a minute, and then just take my time with him and try and not rush him to start with. So round here, obviously a nice tall vertical to start. Don't want to be too close to this, so I just got with a little bit of room, and then here I just 6 stride distance, and I just waited to start so that when I got there in the end I could have a little bit of space just to put some leg on him so he could generate that power. Right, so this is probably the second most difficult fence. It's the biggest oxer on the course, so I got there, I actually had a really nice stride there. I got there with a little bit of engine, and I could just move him up and actually get there with lots of power. And then triple bar off the corner here, I made sure I went nice and wide into the corner, and then it was a steady 7 strides down to the 1.86 m vertical at the end. And you can see there, all in Dee Dee's stride. He's got so much scope, so much power. He actually just made that look like it was a normal course, very easy. But there's a few bits there, like the triple bar at the top. I wanted to go nice and wide into the corner, so then I could have sort of a bit of time then to get him into the right spot to jump those, because obviously that was pretty wide at the top there. But like I say, he actually by that point in the round, he was nice and relaxed. He'd already been in a few times before, so he wasn't too worried about the crowd or too worked up. So yeah, he jumped fantastic, and I couldn't have asked more from him then. So next video we're going to talk about is Tom's first ever international that I jumped. I've actually only had him, I think it was 2 days before I went to the show, so not a lot of preparation. And he actually qualified for the Grand Prix. So this is the Grand Prix, so the first round that we jumped. You'll see it's a little bit rough around the edges, a little bit raw. We've done a lot of flat work, a lot of work since then, that he's actually really improved. But actually I think it'd be good for people to see where he started off and how he's improved since then. So just starting here, over the first fence now. And with him, I really tried to keep him nice and relaxed. He's a very strong horse. So my plan with him was always trying to stay nice and soft from my hand where I could do, just so that he doesn't get leaning on my hand and don't get too strong around the course. So this oxy had actually nearly overjumped that. I'm not sure he saw the back bar, and then down that distance he really made up the ground. He's got a massive stride, and he really made up the ground to the oxy, and you can see the scope of him when he jumps out of there. So just here again, I tried to just keep him nice and soft off my hand round to this oxer off the corner. Jump that, you can see again he's giving it a foot always up, and just there you can see a little bit of the strongness coming out, a bit of his strength where he tries to pull against me. I let him roll around here to this oxer again, try not to interfere. And then this again is a big bit that he struggled with to start, is the change of leg. You can see there he landed on the wrong lead, then went disunited, and then went into that double and jumped a little bit to the right. But something that we've really been working on, and you can see there disunited again down that distance, but he used his talent to be able to get out of the trouble. Again here around this corner, just tried to keep him off my leg. He's got so much ability, he just finds that so easy, and then just try to let him weight down to that double of verticals. And then here the final fence, you can see him just starting to poke his nose and get a little bit strong again. But that was the thing with him to start, is actually he had all the jump there, had all the ability and the carefulness, but just a little bit in his rideability, you know, not quite understanding the change of leg or getting quite strong. So just to start off with, that was something that I really worked on with him. He's really trying to get him, you know, soft off my hand, listening and understanding where my body weight and what that's telling him to do, rather than just sort of leaning on my hand, which he did to start off with. You know, it's not perfect just yet, but we're definitely getting there. And certainly with the leg changes and things, he's improved massively. So you can see there, you know, what we started off with, and hopefully now if you see a Monday video of him, he's really improved from that. And he actually, you know, he's still got those traits about him, but you know, the rideability is there, and actually it makes his life easier to jump around the courses. So also we're going to touch on a good round from Teddy. This is probably one where he did a better job than what I did. I made a couple of mistakes in this round myself. So this is a jump off round. This is the class that he won in Seville a year ago. Him winning the small tour Grand Prix, the 140 Grand Prix. What are you doing? So to begin with here, I was actually going to take a stride out 1 to 2, but was a little bit too close to 1, so I decided to go on the waiting stride. But it actually sort of worked in my favour, because it meant that when I landed here, I just got earlier on that turn and actually could get round to this third fence a little bit quicker. I had a good shot here. It's quite a big oxer that in the middle, and then I dropped inside. Here's where I made a bit of a mistake. I came round this corner and I didn't quite see the first one. I probably should have gone one less stride and ended up getting too close, but Teddy luckily helped me out, got me out of trouble there and jumped that oxer. Luckily it had been made skinnier, and then I kept rolling down to the vertical at the bottom, came around here at the corner, big oxer going in here to this double of verticals. He jumped in there fantastic and then sat up lovely coming out, and then I also took a stride out to the last. You can see just letting him run and jump there down to the last, and he came off that front rail perfectly, and that was good enough for the win there in Seville. So yeah, a bit of an example where I made a mistake. I should have gone on that first one. I came around the corner and waited, but luckily he got me out of trouble and ended up getting a win. The video we got here, hey Jack, is Romeo's first ever 3-star Grand Prix. So this was the Horse of the Year Show Grand Prix in 2018, where he jumped clear in the first round. Like I said, his first ever 3-star, so actually my first 3-star as well. So the biggest course we jump, and actually obviously big atmosphere at Horse of the Year Show, so a bit intimidating to say the least. I didn't go in there with the highest expectations. I was just thought I'd give it a go and see how we got on, basically. So I'll just play the video now. So he'd actually jumped fantastic all week there, Romeo. He was in really good form. So just to start, I just wanted to get a nice cog to start off with, so I had a good rhythm to sort of get me set up for the rest of the course. Obviously it's quite big, these fences, so I wanted him to have a nice good cog to start, lots of power in his canter. Just round this corner, you can see there, he's quite sharp, and he just started to get a little bit forward, so I just had to make him wait to that vertical. And then here was a really tricky line. So big oxer off the corner going into that double. Careful coming out, and then a short 3 strides to the oxer, and then really difficult here. So that was a 5-stride line to that plank. And so what I did, I came a little bit on the inside so that I could get to the plank a little bit waiting in the end. I didn't want to be too flat. Just around there, I made a little bit of time up to that letterbox. Didn't want to be getting time faults, and the same round here to this fence off the corner. You can see there, that's where he starts to fight me a little, and he just gets big to that. Down here, short 7 or a big 6, and I decided to go 7 in the first round. You can see here how much I had to make him wait there. And then off the corner, really tricky here into the combination. Had to make sure I get him straight. Big oxer in the middle, and then short coming out. And then again, 4 strides short to that oxer, but he jumped that fantastic, flicked away behind, just looked super. And then second to last here, starting to get a bit nervous. Jumped that, and it was a nice 8 strides to the finish. I couldn't quite believe it at this point. I sort of assumed I'd got a time for it, had a fence down somewhere, and that's why I look up the clock there, because actually I can't quite realise that, you know, I've actually gone clear. I assumed there must have been a fault somewhere that I would have, you know, I would have had a fence off behind, or not quite realised, or must have had a time fault, but he went clear. He's fantastic, and you can see there, he actually found that very easy. You can see on the replay there, it's actually, it was difficult for him. He had to jump a bit to the left to make a bit of room to that vertical. But there, over that last, you can see the scope that he's got and so much ability. He's a fantastic little horse. And I think that's why so many of you love him. So the next video we're going to cover is Cash's Foxhunter qualification. So the way the Foxhunter qualifications work is you have to jump a certain amount of double clears in a normal Foxhunter, and then you get to qualify for the second round. So this is then the final of the second round. So the way the second rounds work is that there is 3 rounds of jumping, So for the first two, you start off with a normal course, probably a little bit bigger and a bit more technical than a normal Foxhunter would be. If you jump clear in that, then you move on to the second round. Again, that then gets quite big and a little bit difficult again. And then the third round, it's sort of like a jump off basically, but they still put the fences up. So by the end of the Foxhunter, it is quite a big course, probably around 140. Considering a Foxhunter is usually 120, for a second round, it's big enough. And I sort of had a bit of a plan going in here with Cash. So if I play the video now, I'd seen a few riders go before me, and they'd gone really, really quick, but had one down. So my plan was to just try and not go too Larry, but actually try and get a double clear. So then I thought that would give me a better chance of qualifying rather than being super quick and having one down. Just here, she's a little bit short down there. She got a massive stride. So I had to just make sure that I didn't let her run down there to that oxer. Kept her rolling around this corner. Got a nice little bob over that vertical, so then the distance down to this double, which was a bit short, was a bit easier. She jumped through there, fantastic. And then here to this oxer, quite a few people have had this down. It's quite a big square oxer off the turn, so I just gave myself an extra stride down there on the inside turn just to give her a chance to jump it. And yeah, she just cruised around there nice and easy. She's got so much talent. But like I said, a lot of people have gone very quick but had one down. And she's not the quickest horse in the world, so I thought if I could just get a double clear, I might get beaten by one that goes really quick and goes double clear, but hopefully then the others will try and go too fast to beat me and have a fence down, and that's exactly what happened. And we managed to qualify, which is fantastic, because that was her first try at a second round. Usually it takes people a couple of goes, and she went in there, triple clear on the day, and really was super. Right, so thank you very much for watching the vlog. I hope that those videos are, a little bit interesting. Maybe a couple of bits you can take away from that of what sort of my point of view is when I'm looking back on my videos and sort of trying to criticise myself and trying to get it as perfect as I can when I'm riding those top horses. So yeah, I hope you enjoyed the vlog. Make sure you like and subscribe to our channel, and I'll catch you next time.